Hello, sir, miss, or anyone watching my video presentation. My name is Manreet Dhillon, and I will be presenting to you how media driven misinformation undermined public health during COVID 19. This presentation will explore how news and social media platforms amplified fear, fueled vaccine hesitancy, and undermined trust in science through misinformation. Moving on to the next slide. According to a study by MIT, false claims about COVID 19 were 70% more likely to be shared on Facebook than accurate information, showing how misinformation spreads faster and wider than the truth on social media platforms. This rapid sharing of information amplifies confusion and distrust during the COVID 19 pandemic. Mass media, particularly social and digital platforms, played a major role in spreading misinformation during COVID-19 pandemic, which significantly influenced how people behave in the trust of authorities and their willingness to accept the vaccine. For the key concept and theories, the definition of misinformation is false info shared without the intent to harm, and disinformation is deliberate spreading of false info. And the relevant theories that I use, the first one is cultivation theory, and this theory suggests that long-term exposure to media content it shapes people's belief and their worldview, which can make misinformation feel like reality. And my second theory that I use is social cognition theory that explains how people tend to imitate behavior that they see repeatedly in the media, especially if those behaviors appear to be accepted or rewarded. This helps the misinformation to spread through the social networks. And my last theory that I use is agenda setting theory. And this theory shows how media influence what issues people think about by focusing the attention on a specific topic, such as vaccine controversies or even conspiracy theories, thereby shaping public priorities and concerns. Together, these theories help us understand the powerful role social media plays in shaping attitudes and behavior during health crises like the COVID 19 pandemic. Moving on to the next slide. So, for the argument one, it's the amplification of misinformation by media. And during the early stages of the pandemic, news channels and articles used alarming headlines that amplified public fear. For an example, a viral post that claimed Bill Gates planned to track you with vaccine microchips or Fox News Channel and Gravitas, they add segments questioning is China virus a biological weapon? Such speculative framing, lacking verified evidence, contributed to the global panic and the stigma against certain communities and the spread of conspiracy theories. For the analysis, the headlines were speculative and lacked scientific backing, but because of their dramatic tone, they spread quickly and influenced the public perception. Such emotional wording, unverified claims, and the fear driven language played into the public fears that caused panic. And for the effect, in the long term, this also caused public confusion and a breakdown in trust towards health authorities, which later impacted vaccine acceptance and compliance with the safety guidelines. So, moving on to the second argument, which is media misinformation and vaccine hesitancy. One viral conspiracy theory also claimed that Bill Gates admits that the vaccine can change your DNA forever. Even though this was false and debunked by many credible sources, it was widely shared on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, now known as X, and this platforms, they help to like spread these conspiracy theories, especially in like private groups where fast checking was limited. As people saw the same claims repeatedly, they start to believe them, like a psychological effect known as the illusionary truth effect. So the constant exposure to the false claims, they made the individuals very hesitant to take the vaccine, which became a very serious barrier to their health. Following the public health consequences, the World Health Organization, called it a infodemic, and it refers to an overabundance of information, some accurate, but most of it was not really accurate and false. And it made a lot of like people see like this conflicting news, this conspiracy theories, and it really make them very hard to like give like the very hard to spread the correct information. Moving on to argument three, which is the public consequences, fear division, and erosion of trust. Um, the misinformation that was spread caused a lot of panic buying, and people were just rushing to the stores and they were like buying like toilet paper, sanitizers, hand wash, their favorite food probably. They were just like buying and stocking up because they were panicking. And then there was also a growing resistance to safety measure like mask refusals, and this is because the misinformation said that you don't need to wear a mask, it's not in the air, and there were a lot of news like that, so they just didn't want to wear the mask. And according to BBC World Report, over 800 people died globally in just the first 3 months because of the all the fast false information spreading during the COVID-19. And this highlights how dangerous the misinformation was, and this affects also eroded trust in like the public institutions, making it harder for government to spread information, like I mentioned earlier. Also, there were false rumors about home remedies falsely promoted as cures. And in India, people were encouraged to drink cow urine or apply cow dung, believing it had protective powers. In US, misinformation suggested gargling salt water or drinking the miracle mineral solution, which is bleach. And in Nigeria, viral posts promoted that boiling neem leaves, also known as dogonyaro, and drinking ginger, garlic, and lemon mixtures as cures. These remedies through widely was like widely shared, and they lacked scientific support, and in some cases led to really serious health risks, distracting the public from proven medical advice. Moving on to the next slide, which is counter argument and rebuttal. And for the counterpoint, media had to respond very fast to this evolving crisis. However, speed does not justify the inaccuracy. Even in emergencies, ethical journalism demands fact checking and balanced reporting. The failure to do so led to a lot of serious consequences, as we saw in like the earlier slides. And this shows how that irresponsible media coverage can do more harm than good, especially during a health crisis. For the ethical considerations, during the pandemic, the role of ethical journalism became more important than ever. According to the SPJ Codes of Ethics, journalists are expected to seek truth and report it. But unfortunately, many media outlets fail to verify their sources or to debunk the misinformation quickly. Journalists also have the duty to minimize harm, yet sensationalist or misleading coverage that contributed to the fear, confusion, and everything. With conflicting information from all the media, and the public didn't know who to trust or what source to trust, and this was very dangerous. So, for the conclusion, to sum up, misinformation during the COVID 19 pandemic had serious real world consequences, including widespread of fear, non compliances with the health guidelines, and vaccine resistance. Moving forward, the media must prioritize ethics and accuracy in their reporting to rebuild the public trust. At the same time, the public needs to improve media literacy to better identify the misinformation. Government and social media platforms also have a crucial role in actively combating the fake news. Ultimately, it's a mutual responsibility. Only through the cooperation that the media can become a more reliable foundation for democracy and public health. Thank you for listening to my presentation.